Hey there, focused learners, and welcome back. Today we are jumping right into a pretty whimsical yet absolutely incredibly practical piece of source material for this explainer. It's called The Dairy Cow's Secret Meeting Part 4, Don't Wait Until We're Sick. Now I know, talking cows, right? But seriously, do not let that playful premise fool you for a second. This story uses a really clever conversation among a herd of cows to deliver some incredibly sharp, scientifically grounded insights into herd management, early illness detection, and animal welfare. The ideas we're going to cover today are the absolute bedrock of modern agricultural practices, just told through a super engaging lens. So let's get right into the whole shebang.
So, picture this, okay? A cool, quiet evening is settling over the dairy farm. The barn is super peaceful, and the cows are just resting comfortably after a long, productive day. But right in the middle of this calm scene, one of the leading cows, Bella, notices that something is just a little off. She turns to the herd and asks, "Has anyone seen Molly today? She wasn't her cheerful self during milking." And then another cow, Daisy, chimes in to say, "Yeah, actually, Molly didn't even finish her feed and spent the whole afternoon just lying down." Now, on the surface, this sounds like casual herd gossip, right? But it actually sets the stage for a massive, critical lesson in animal husbandry.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1, Masters of Disguise. Why cows hide their illness.
So why does it matter so much that Molly is acting just a tiny bit off? Like, why are the other cows taking this so seriously? Well, the herd themselves actually brings up a vital biological truth about bovine behavior that literally every successful farmer has to understand. Rosie, who's kind of the insightful cow of the group, points out that cows are total masters of disguise. To a farmer, at a quick passing glance, a cow might look totally fine, just resting quietly in the barn. But internally, she may have been feeling awful for quite some time. You see, as prey animals, they instinctively hide any weakness so they don't attract predators. It's hardwired into them. So actually, scratch that. By the time a cow looks obviously sick to us humans, she's likely been suffering for a while. In a farming setup, this means you absolutely cannot afford to just wait around for glaring, obvious signs of distress.
Section 2. Reading the silent signals and decoding cow behavior.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that if cows are actively hiding their illnesses, how is a farmer ever supposed to know when to step in? Well, the cows are essentially begging farmers to run through a specific daily checklist before those minor changes snowball into big, unmanageable disasters. It's definitely not about waiting for a cow to collapse. It's about noticing less appetite at the feed bunk. It's observing less rumination, which, just means they aren't chewing their cud as often as they normally do. Maybe it's spotting a cow standing slightly away from her social group, or even just noticing a slightly stiffer, different way of walking. These are the subtle, silent signals of physical distress we've got to watch for daily.
Moving right along to Section 3, Data Tells a Story, the Power of Milk Records.
So observation isn't just visual, right? It's also highly analytical. In the story, a younger cow named Luna mentions seeing the farmer looking at a computer screen right after milking. And this is such a great detail because it brilliantly bridges traditional animal husbandry with modern, data-driven farm management. Bella and Rosie discuss how those computer screens hold their daily milk records. And guys, those records are a huge deal. A sudden drop in milk yield? That is often the very first red flag. Before a cow even changes her walk or stops eating, her milk production will usually take a hit. Her milk is literally telling a story. Monitoring those yield numbers every day is just an incredibly effective quantitative way to catch an illness in its absolute earliest stages.
Which brings us to this really poignant moment in the source material. Rosie says if we stop visiting the feed bunk, chew our cud less often, or drink less water, that's our way of asking for help. Wow. There is this fantastic bit of dramatic irony here. The cows know exactly what is wrong. They are totally in tune with their own bodies. They are basically just waiting for us humans to decode their silent language. They're communicating constantly and clearly, just not with words.
Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 4. The Intervention, Molly's Case Study.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens next. Right in the middle of their secret meeting, Molly slowly shuffles over, apologizing for being late, and admits to her friends that she just hasn't felt like eating today. And this sets up a perfect real-world chronology of proper care that very next morning. Let's walk through it. Step 1, the farmer notices Molly is eating less than usual. He catches that silent visual signal right away. Step 2, he doesn't take a wait-and-see approach, no way. He immediately checks her temperature to get some hard data. Step 3, realizing something is definitely off, he calls the vet. And finally, Step 4, after a quick exam, Molly gets early treatment. It's just a highly effective, highly practical response to a very subtle behavioral change.
Section 5. Prevention over cure. The results of early action.
So, what happens next? Well, the science and economics of agricultural herd management heavily rely on the outcome of a story just like Molly's. And the emotional and practical payoff here is huge. Within just a few days, Molly is smiling and telling the herd she feels so much better. Daisy points out that acting early made all the difference in the world, which leads Bella to drop this ultimate foundational truth of agriculture. Prevention will always be better than cure. By not waiting around for Molly to get severely sick, the farmer saved time, saved veterinary costs, and most importantly, prevented the animal from experiencing prolonged suffering.
Our narrative then steps in to summarize the objective facts perfectly, proving that a healthy herd always begins with attentive management. When farmers monitor appetite, milk yields, and movement every single day, they catch health problems early. And the ripple effect of that is amazing. It directly and undeniably improves animal welfare. It massively reduces treatment costs because, you aren't dealing with advanced, complicated, deeply set illnesses. And of course, it maintains high productivity for the entire farm. It is a literal win-win for both the farmer's livelihood and the herd's quality of life.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with a final, collective plea from the cows themselves. It serves as this incredibly powerful, provocative question for anyone in management or care, whether you are running a dairy farm or overseeing any kind of complex operation really. Are you listening to the small signs today to protect your herd tomorrow? Don't wait until the problems in your system are loud enough to force you to pay attention. Listen to the small signs, intervene early, and prioritize prevention. Thanks so much for joining me on this Explainer Focus Learners. Keep observing the little things and keep learning. Catch you next time.